Hey everyone! So I decided to speed the video up because if not, it was going to be like more than an hour and a half. So I wanted to shorten it up a little bit. But I decided to get some fairy lights. I ordered them off Amazon. The fairy lights are about 3 feet long, and I decided to use them to make some light up boxes. And it was really fun. So I would definitely suggest buying some fairy lights because it makes the boxes look so awesome at nighttime when you have them lit up. But I basically just did the regular basic box style. I did the side panels on top of the acrylics, and then I decided to do the back and the front piece on the sides because I was running the wire out the backside. And I wasn't able to do that if I would have had the acrylic on top of the bottom. So then I basically will have it open up like a book from left to right. But I got this all put together. I did let this dry for a little bit longer, just because when I'm pushing on the acrylic walls to get the fairy lights to stick to them, I didn't want to have any problems. So I did let it dry a lot longer than normal, and I'm glad I did it. I was trying to figure out if I was going to do a little pocket on the backside with some 4CMs to kind of put the battery pack into, and I was going back and forth for a while on what I was going to do with that. I was also running the fairy lights on the bottom, on the sides, to see how, long of a piece I was needing. Kind of bending the wire, to make it a little bit more straight and curving it in the corner. So it was a little bit easier for me to glue it that way. And I loved putting the fairy lights on the inside of the box so you could see how it would light up. I also feel like using this little ring light that we had really helped me see where I was placing the fairy lights. And when you do use the super glue, I would recommend using a really tiny drop. I did notice that if the drop was a little bit too big, it was taking a minute for it to dry on the acrylic. The fairy light was kind of sliding around a little bit, so I would suggest using small dots. And I was also kind of gluing the fairy light on its side because it was easier for that to adhere. I did end up running the wire through the back corner, and that worked really well. And since I waited until the very end to put the back panel on, it was easier for it to stick that way. I wanted to get a close shot here showing you how I was gluing it. I was pushing the glue bottle against the fairy light to kind of hold it down for a little bit. But I think it looks really good lit up. Here I'm just basically getting everything else put back on. Cleaned everything off on the bottom to make sure I got any fingerprints off the acrylic. Any smudge marks. Since this one was a clear design, I wanted to make sure to get it as clean as I could. I did bend the side of the wire right there on the acrylic, which it did have a little bit of a gap after I glued it on, but nothing too major. And I still look at it today and move it around and nothing comes off. So it adheres to it really good. Instead of doing the little cubby in the back, I decided to go with Velcro. Towards the end, I I just put a piece of Velcro on the battery packs, and that turned out good. Since there was a little bit of red into the Molly design, I decided to take some red rhinestones, and I literally just added it to the middle part of the side panels. I didn't go too far with the rhinestones. I just think adding in that little bit of red in the center of each panel looks really good, especially when I turn the lights on. The one part I didn't get recorded, I finally got my order that had some Molly charms to it. And I did notice that some of the fairy lights that I had problems with the glue drying on time, and then it kind of moved the light, and then you could see like the smudge of the glue dried to the acrylic. I did get some Molly like resin charms, and I ended up gluing like, I think it was like 2 to each panel. It was a black and a red one, so it went well with the box colors. But I'm really glad that I got those as well, because that really helped. Now I'm just adding the hinges and the knob to the box. I decided to do 3 hinges on the right side. And usually if I do bigger boxes like this, because I used 8CMs and 4CMs on the top and bottom, so it's a little bit, wider, I think doing 3 hinges makes it a lot more secure. I do have the bigger hinges as well, but I figure doing 3 of the smaller hinges work just perfectly. And then I put the knob on the left-hand side. I kind of did it in between 2 of the 4 CMs to kind of get it to be a little bit more secure on the box. I think that if you just put it on one of the acrylics and you're opening and closing it a lot, I just get a little bit scared with that. So I do it in the middle between 2 of the acrylics to make it more secure. But I love it. I love this black and clear design. And then look at those lights. They look so pretty lit up. Here it is in the dark. I'm putting it on. I think it turned out really well. After I get done showing this off, I basically do the Velcro on the back side. And I'm going to add that in at the very end so you can see how it looks when it's sticking to the back of the box. But it turned out really well, and I love doing light up boxes now. Okay, so here's the video I used for my Etsy posting, but see, I put the Velcro on the back side there so it sticks. It's out of the way, works perfectly, and you can take it on and off. Yes, it's in your way a little bit in the back, but it's the perfect spot for it, and I think it turned out really well.